back to the course on Chemical Reaction Engineering 1. Myself, Neethi Mehta, Assistant Professor at Chemical Engineering Department, LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. So what do we mean by non-ideal flow? Before understanding this, we must brush up our knowledge of CRE1. So if you recall, in CRE1 we have dealt with what are various types of reaction mechanism or what are various types of reaction which are possible, right? We have seen batch reactor, plug flow reactor, CSTR, or which is also known as continuous stir tank reactor or mixed flow reactor. But we have done its derivation and determined the performance equation, but all was done on the basis of ideal conditions only. In actual practice, those ideal conditions or equations are not always favorable, right? In actual practices, the ideal condition somehow get deviated from ideality, and that's why we need to consider non-ideal conditions also. We will deal with non-ideal flow and how the non-ideal flow is generated, how to cope up with that, and how to manipulate your reactions or your derivations based on non-ideal flow, right? So in this particular slide, you can see two pictures. One is a fluid and another is a reactor. So what does it depict? It basically depicts the behavior of fluid inside any reactor, or it depicts that how industrial reactor actually works, correct? So in case of industries, there are reactors and we are dealing with different types of fluid to get our desired product. In that particular case, what happened that the ideal flow can get deviated towards non-ideality and it can show some other flow patterns. So we will deal with all those kind of parameters or factors which are responsible for generating the non-ideal flow conditions, right? So let's just start with the introduction. So what is non-ideal flow? For knowing this, we must first understand that what is ideal flow, correct? So ideal flow is basically either a plug flow or a mixed flow, correct? So if a fluid is showing a plug flow pattern or a mixed flow pattern, then and then only it can be considered as an ideal flow. Now, actual reactor or the reactor which we are using in our industry to manufacture the product or to produce some goods, they generally get diverted from ideality and then never follow the ideal flow patterns or ideal flow conditions, right? So for that, the entire thing, the deviation from ideality towards non-ideality or non-ideal flow patterns, the entire behavior depends upon the extent of mixing. How the fluid is getting mixed and how the entire thing is incorporated in the entire reactor close-up, in that particular thing only the flow pattern is dependent, correct? So the flow pattern behavior entirely depends on the extent of mixing, how we are mixing it. Now, let us now consider what are the factors which are basically responsible for non-ideal flow. The first and foremost important factor or parameter which is responsible for generating non-ideal flow is either recycling or short circuiting. So, if there is any kind of recycled stream which is being attached in our reactor, then there will be a chances of diversity from ideality. Then there is a chances of getting a non-ideal flow. Another reason is short circuiting. Short circuiting is basically a phenomena when the reactant passes through the reactor without getting converted into product, right? So when the reactant do not participate in reaction and leaves the reactor as it is without undergoing any kind of reaction or conversion, that phenomena is known as short circuiting. So in case of short circuiting also, there is a possibility or chances of non-ideal flow. Next is formation of vortices. Generally, there are vortices at the either beginning or end of the reactor, right? At entry point of the reactor or at exit point of the reactor. So in that cases also, due to formation of vortices, the velocity changes and the flow pattern also changes. So due to that also, there are chances of non-ideal flow. Another parameter which is responsible for that is the extent of mixing. How the reactant or how the fluid are being mixed is also the foremost governing factor in determining the flow pattern. One more parameter which we must consider is the dead zone. In case of reactors, there are few space available in reactor, or there are few spots inside the reactor where reactant are just dumped and they are not participating in reaction. Generally, dead zone occur at corners or at bottom of the reactor, bottom corner of the reactor, right? At bottommost part of the reactor or at corners of reactor, it generally happens that the reactant gets stuck there and they are not able to participate in the reaction. So in that cases, it forms a dead zone, and hence due to that dead zone also, the flow pattern gets changed. Now, as you can see this is basically a CSTR. Reactant is coming from topmost part of the reactor and product is leaving from the bottom part. Correct. Now, this is the ideal condition. As you can see, the entire thing is properly mixing thoroughly from topmost part to the bottom part, and there is no stagnant zone or dead zone or anything like that, right? But this is not in actual practice. In actual, if you see, this is the scenario. I have just given you the example of bypassing, or what we call as short circuiting. As you can see in this particular picture, the pink one is the reactant and it is just leaving the reactor as it is without participating in the reactor. As you can see in this particular picture, the pink one, the reactant is coming from topmost part of the reactor. Following the reactor, it is just bypassing from the bottom of the reactor, right? So this is the general case which is happening in case of actual reactors, right? And even in the bottom corners, as you can see, just where the pink one is falling down, at that corners also there are dead zone which is generated. So now coming to factors which are responsible for flow pattern, right? Which are the factors which are responsible for generating flow patterns, or which are responsible for forming flow patterns? The first parameter is RTD, which is known as residence time distribution. So for understanding what is RTD, we first understand what is residence time. So the residence time is the time taken by a molecule to pass through the reactor, right? The time taken by reactant molecule to pass through the reactor is known as residence time. Now, residence time distribution is basically a characteristic of a reactor in which it determines how much time a reactant are staying inside the reactor. and based on that we can determine the efficiency of reactor and the flow pattern of our reactor. Next is state of aggregation. State of aggregation basically refers to how the molecules are being attached with each other, whether there is a lumps or there is a proper mixing of having molecules or there is a proper spacing between different molecules, right? So state of aggregation also governs the flow pattern. Next is extent of mixing. Again, how the reactant are being mixed with each other completely depicts the behavior of fluid in that particular reactor. If there is a proper mixing, then there are more chances of ideal flow pattern, right? So mixing is very much important, not only for flow pattern but also for conversion. Proper mixing can also help us to get the proper kind of conversion and proper product specifications. Next is earliness and lateness of mixing. Now, whenever we are talking about earliness and lateness of mixing, it refers to when you are mixing two reactants together. Again, this is very important. Proper mixing and at proper time, both the things are very important. You need to mix the reactant properly and you need to mix the reactant at proper time. Even if you are mixing your reactant at early stage, that means if you are mixing it at the entry point, then also the flow pattern will be different, and if you are mixing your reactant at the exit point, then also the flow pattern will be different. So you need to mix your reactant at proper given time, right? So these are few factors which are responsible for flow patterns of reactor or flow patterns from any reactor, right? Now, this is all for today. Today we have discussed about what is non-ideal flow, what are factors which are responsible for non-ideal flow, and what are factors which are governing the flow pattern. In the next lecture, we will continue with the RTD study. Thank you.